That boy Nate Diaz with the flex choke.
Stockton, California, stand up, man. Mother. Kevin Holland in that bitch song. I'm not about this life. You're not about that life, bro. Fuck you. You're not about that life.
Chimaev literally getting the leash out and dog walking Kevin Holland. But you don't do my boy the Leech like that after he saved the card.
Passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with.
What's going on, motherfuckers, and welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. You stepped into the Fight Club, and the first rule of Fight Club is to go down and like and subscribe. And the second rule of the motherfucking Fight Club is to share this shit with your best friend, motherfuckers. And if you don't got a best friend, share this shit with your number one nemesis.
I like it.
But before we get in and talk UFC 279, Nate Diaz Ferguson, and all the shit that happened before this shit even got to take place, you know who this is. I'm Paul Pickle Winham Concha. I got my bowl packed, and I'm joined with.
Hey, man. You already know. It's that boy, Kev. Water Boy's boy. Also known as the future greatest. You feel me? We in this bitch talking UFC 279. We got the bloodbath that was Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. That shit was insane, dude. All the fucking blood in that fight. When I seen Tony Ferguson's leg cut the fuck open, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be crazy.
Just leaking just everywhere.
I really did not expect Tony to bleed more than Nate, but he did, and it was insane.
Before I forget, we have a special guest joining us later on in this episode, so stay tuned for that. I ain't gonna drop who it is until we get the motherfucker on the line.
You feel me? But there's a lot of crazy shit that went down in this fucking fight. They canceled the fucking press conference. Like, this shit was insane. So, Paul, let me know what the fuck happened this weekend.
Shit, press conference set up. Everyone there, media there. Now we just waiting. My boy the Leech pulled up in the nice blue suit, ready to stun everybody. He was waiting in the wing. So behind the scenes, Nate Diaz and his crew 75 pull up. Kevin Holland pull up. Chimaev pull up. Tony Ferguson pull up. These are too many volatile motherfuckers into the same backstage area. Too close, and there ain't enough security in the world to stop them and their crews. You got Chimaev and his crew of 25 and Czechian soldiers. You got Nate Diaz and his Stockholm soldiers. So they started. Kevin Holland pulled up on Chimaev, started talking something about. Kevin Holland swears he said he's just gonna cut his beard. That's all he said. Kevin Holland is a jokester, so I don't doubt it. Chimaev was on some fading shit off rip. It sounded like I'm like, fuck all this talk, I'm ready to fade anybody. And Diaz then took that perfect opportunity to pop it all off with his boys. Ferguson was nowhere to be. Ferguson actually was the one cooling it. I don't want to throw his name in it. He actually had nothing to do with all this brawling stuff. So Dana White canceled the yeah, but he's still volatile. All right, I don't want to take away. He's still a volatile guy. But
like they said, I'm gonna cut your blonde hair. He probably would have been the one starting everything.
Yeah. So Dana White cancels it for everybody's safety. Says nothing can happen. And we thought that was the worst of it. Nope, that wasn't the worst of it. Now it comes to weigh-ins. We get to weigh-ins, and this man Chimaev comes in 7.5 pounds overweight. Nate Diaz is not fighting him. He already feels like he's getting set up. So whenever Chimaev comes in that heavy, he doesn't even want no, I'm not fighting someone who doesn't even come in on weight for my last fight type shit, which I respect. Nate Diaz has the right to do that. He's a GOAT.
Dana said the commissions wouldn't even let that shit slide either.
I wouldn't doubt it. Commissions are strict about like 1 or 2 pounds is one thing, but 7.5, like where you're knocking on the other weight classes.
Chimaev said he could have made the weight though. He said it's just weight. I would have made it.
He said he was getting cramps. He said, I don't know which story, because one story came out saying it was his doctor and that's the story Dana White said. The doctors are telling him to stop it and telling Dana White he can't cut more weight because all the cramps and stuff. He don't want kidney failure. And then the manager for Chimaev came out, and that's a story I kind of believe more. Chimaev's manager came out and said that he's the one that told Chimaev to stop cutting weight he saw him like every time he'll stand up, he started fainting. He had these bad cramps and just he didn't want his fighter to do that.
He said Ariel Helwani?
I'm not sure. I just remember seeing the comments, but once he owned up to it, so I was like, oh, I believe like he's the one. He's not like what's he gain from this? And but I won't be too mad at it because Kevin Holland, being the vigilante superhero who he is, he came in and said, "Fuck it, I'll save the day and I'll take on the Czechian soldier." And then Nate Diaz and Ferguson ended up happening, and that's the fight on. We were talking on the last episode, like, man, we wish it was Diaz and Ferguson. That fight would have been great.
Which it was, but I actually think Lee was the hero of this card.
I thank you for bringing that up.
I think Kevin Holland and Chimaev, they set it up for themselves. They had beef. Kevin Holland did that bitch telling him, I'm not about this life. You're not about that life, bro. Fuck you. You're not about that life. Chimaev had to prove that he was about that life. But Lee had to fight the other dude, which wasn't even in his weight class.
Yeah, and 10 pounds over. And and Lee, that's all right. I completely forgot. He was just about to come out in his brand new blue suit with the haircut and everything, looked fresh on the scene. And then Dana White canceled it. Literally, as he's walking out, someone grabs him and says he can't go on the stage. And he never got to show off the nice suit.
That's crazy. Lee.
My boy, the Leech.
Free my dog, Leech, man. He's the one that really did a lot for this card.
Hey, and the worst part is they hold him. That's what he got out of doing this fight. They ended up holding him.
So let's talk. We talked the mishap, the mayhem. Probably one of the most controversial cards we'll see for. I've only been watching UFC for a year, and that's pretty controversial. So let's talk this motherfucking Lee fight. I was still at the gate again, so I missed this fight. What happened, dog?
Man, Daniel Rodriguez and Leech, they came in, they banged it out. There wasn't much. There was like one takedown and tip from Leech, and he got it towards the end of a round, and it didn't really matter. But it did just show that he won. It's a nice cherry on top. But man, like they banged it out, and I felt like Leech was the one kind of pressing, and Leech was the one. At some points, Rodriguez would start pressing, but Leech would know like when to go from backing up to planting his foot and landing a shot. Rodriguez got his shots in too, but I felt like Lee was going like they both went all over. Like they both got the head, they both got the leg kicks. It was really just a great fight all around. I won't say it was the worst robbery because it was a very competitive fight, but you don't do my boy the Leech like that after he saves the card. Is there no honor anymore? Is there no integrity?
So is it like a unanimous decision? Because even Dana White said Leech
it was
won
split. It was a split decision, but the community is almost all like on one side of like because we felt like Daniel Rodriguez had more strikes, but he won one round. The other two rounds we felt like the Leech definitely won.
That's tragic, man. So what do you think's next for Leech? Because what's his last fight against Chimaev?
No, his last fight against Muslim Shakurov, King of Kung Fu, and he ended up KOing him, and he's a high level striker, so that he was an underdog there. But I don't think it hurts his stock. I know Rodriguez jumped into the welterweight top 15 now after this win and Leech moved out of it, so on the rankings it doesn't look good. But I think he'll still get the respect, and Dana White will place him on a fight that still makes like he's not going to be fighting a nobody next. Like Dana White even spoke up, like you said, like he felt like he got robbed. So I feel like Dana White his next fight's still going to be a top 15 dude, and he'll get treated as if he won in Dana White's eyes. And there's
I
a little
respect.
stardom growing there, bro. Like the community was loving the Leech this weekend.
I respect it. I respect it. I love to see it. I'm gonna again. I gotta wait for the next card to happen for me to rewatch that fight because ESPN Plus doesn't give you the pay-per-views immediately. You gotta wait for like a week or something.
And then there's the cherry on top before we move on to the next fight because we got a caller in the lobby waiting. So we ain't telling you who it is yet. But the Leech pulled up on Ariel Helwani. You know, that's only what winners do after. So, you know, he still got the right to pull up on Ariel Helwani. And he pulled up with the blue blazer on still. He had his but it's underneath he had a white tank top where he wrote in Sharpie, "I got robbed." Hey, that boy, you can't. That's what I'm saying. Like they got a low key start. Like he took a little bit and he poured gasoline on it and set it on fire. And now he's like on the community is loving him right now.
I love to see it, man. Cause I fuck with homie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Definitely hope he goes on a little streak now that he's getting all this getting this publicity.
And bounce back after this shitty judging loss. No big deal.
Was it Sal? Was Sal there?
I don't think Sal was there. Someone else done my boy dirty.
There you go. But who's in the lobby?
All right, he's joining in right now. Welcome, Marcus. Long time no see, motherfucker.
What's going on, man? You know how to jump in for the UFC fights?
Come on, man. Hey, come on, man. I knew you was gonna be here in time to talk these two fights. That's all I do. I was like, as long as he's here for these two fights, that's all we need.
I had to jump in.
Perfect timing. We have Khamzat Chimaev literally getting the leash out and dog walking Kevin Holland with a first round Darcy choke submission. Neither fighter had a single strike thrown the whole fight, and I think it's some crazy statistic I saw.
Shit's crazy. Shit is insane.
I was not expecting that shit.
I like that the weigh-in, the fact that Hazmat was just looking at his ass like, nobody can save you now. Nobody can save you now. You gotta fight. Nobody can save you now, buddy. That was worse than when he called motherfucking Pablo Costa a Brazilian pussy. Like, everything sounds so much more disrespectful with his accent.
That boy's a demon.
But Hazmat is my favorite. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think he's my favorite. I don't know. He might just be my favorite person. I think, hey, Obama, move over.
Obama.
Hazmat survival. Hey, he's dangerous. But Paul, man, what did you see in this fight? Because I saw some great motherfucking wrestling in this bitch.
I saw this like there's literally nothing else to say other than Khamzat just from ringing the bell to the end until he choked him out. Just absolutely made Kevin Holland look like an amateur, and the Kevin Holland is no amateur. So Chimaev is as legit as it gets, and his wrestling's as legit as it gets. His submission game's as legit as it gets. And now he's looking like he might be a 185er. They're saying that's what his manager's coming out and saying forever. So Izzy, you got some competition in the division.
Nah, that'll fucking suck if he goes to 185. Like, fuck. I know Kamaru's just like, whew, all right, let me go get my belt back. But if that motherfucker goes 85.
And he said he wouldn't fight Whitaker because he respects Whitaker. And then he said, I would love to train with Whitaker. And then Whitaker responded and said, I would love to train with you, partner. And I think we're about to see Coach Whitaker train his assassin to go beat up Izzy.
To go get revenge.
Bro, do you understand how many times Hazmat trains a day? There was a point in time the nigga actually lived in the facility. He didn't have no money when he moved to America. Or no, not moved to Sweden. It was broke in Sweden. Like motherfucking, this is real poverty we're talking. Motherfucking, he was, and the fact that he lived there, he's gonna be having Whitaker up at 2 a.m. Like, hey, we train. Then it's gonna be 5:30, we train. 12, we train. 4, we train. Like, that's fucking insane for him. And then if he goes up in weight and has more power, because the reason why he missed weight was because the schedule was crazy. Motherfucker, he's been lifting weights all motherfucking week. He's been lifting weights. He's been lifting weights longer in his camp. So like he kind of had to play it real close. And even though he missed it by a motherfucking shit ton, I think he could have made the weight if the setup was a little bit better.
People said for him to stop and all that extra stuff, but it ended up with 2 great ass fights. Anything else before we move on to the other fight that ended up happening because of the mixed weight and a lot better fight matchup?
We got a couple more minutes, so I want to keep it a little bit on this part for a second, man.
Okay, spin the block.
The dominance of Khamzat Chimaev. Has it been done before? Do you think it's like, what do you think he's like really putting in his ranks? Like,
bro, I got a question. Does he normally come out shooting like that? That boy came out boom, straight to this man.
He be knocking out in 17 seconds in the apex. Like, he came on his hands, but he said, "Nah, this is gonna be a fight, and
He made Lee J. Ling, the person who's literally our guy who fought the last fight, picked him up, pointed to Dana White. It was like, I'm the best, and then slammed him, choked him out, and didn't get punched a single time. Like, there's a reason why his first 3 fights he didn't get punched no significant strikes landed on him. Like, it was just, I agree with Kev. Like, yeah, you can say John Jones was dominant early. You can say a lot of people were dominant early, but to does not take strikes and does win in the fashions he's been winning is just, no one else can really say the same. Maybe Ronda Rousey, who was just arm barring people in like a minute.
That shit was crazy.
That's insane. So like, to just see whatever division he goes at, he's a fucking issue. And like, if he were to go to 170, if he were to stay at 170, I'd love to see good old Kobe Covington go wrestle my boy one time. Because they're not gonna give him a title fight if you can't trust him to make weight. And then motherfucking, if he goes to 85, just let him go immediately. Fuck up he won't fight Whitaker.
You might get Paulo. Him and Paulo Costa's been beefing.
Yeah, go give him the Brazilian pussy. They've
been beefing for a minute now. They were about to fade at the gym, and then
fuck that nigga. Brazilian pussy, and then he called it. It was not disrespectful. He was like, they be talking all that shit online. Cause I follow Paulo Costa. I'm a fan. But motherfucker, I saw they talk all that shit online. But when I see them, he chicken. He fucking chicken. I was like, that was the most disrespectful shit I ever heard.
And Paulo was just 1 deep, and you see Chimaev was like 7 deep, and the gate was open to the octagon, and Paulo was talking his shit. And I was like, hey, I gotta respect the man who talks the same shit 1 deep or 10 deep.
That boy's a demon, different breed.
He would have died. I'm not gonna lie.
Kevin Holland, though, I can't stress enough that I don't think this L should be completely, like, he completely game planned for a different type of fighter, a fighter who's literally a boxer, and took the fight last minute. He helped save the card. We know Chimaev is a steamroll, so I don't think Holland should be his rise at one. Like, Chimaev ain't no fucking in the division. Like, him fighting Kevin Holland was not the same thing. Like, Kevin Holland has been steamrolling dudes, and now he has this one little speed bump. That's all it is, speed bump. And
yeah, I think it was just like they had to get that out, and it made the most sense. So it was good for him. It shouldn't count towards against him. And I like how they had respect afterwards. Like, okay, it was doing too much. We figured it out. Like that, like men should. So it was cool, man. And we got to get on to the next fight. But the craziest thing to me was just how effortless it kind of was. Because Kevin Holland's a dog, but it's a dog walker. But it just he just sit down and just go for that Darcy choke and just continue making small moves, knowing that until he finally got the submission is crazy. Like, every other fight in the world is just gonna try a different choke. He said, nah, this motherfucker is not gonna move, and I want to finish him just like this right here. So he continued to make small moves until Kevin Holland couldn't do shit at all. The technical shit that you have to be around to be in perfect position and just continue inching your way there is insane. But on to the next fight.
Nate Diaz as the underdog in his last fight versus Tony Ferguson, 2 living legends. Woo, boy, what a fight it was from start to finish. That boy Nate Diaz with the flex choke. And
flex choke.
Hey, and it does the whole respect throughout the whole fight. I felt like they both did what they normally do, and it was just a fucking joy to watch.
Yeah, that boy put on a show no matter what the fuck happened with the matchmaking. He said,
Hey,
I'm coming out here to put on a show no matter what.
hey, they said Tony Ferguson was the only person not scrapping out there, but so like motherfucking, and he came to the motherfucking stage during the press conference, even though that shit got canceled. Like,
So
hey man,
next question.
he earned his fucking title. He earned his main event, and I like that they did that because that's what the fight we wanted to see in the fucking first place. They said after the shit got switched up, instead of people canceling, not before they even announced the switch up, niggas started buying more tickets. Like they wanted to see that, and we wanted to see that fight anyway. So it's nice to see, man. But how do you feel Tony Ferguson did in this fight? Because he got submitted, but like, how do you think he looked? Because is it's Tony time, or is it's time, Tony?
I think it's time because at no point in that fight did I think he was about to win that fight. Like I had Nate Diaz. I put money on, maybe it's because I put money on Nate Diaz as an underdog in his last fight, going up against Ferguson, who's his first time back at welterweight in like 7 years. So like I just kind of took advantage of that like little thing. And Nate Diaz through the whole thing, I felt like he was tagging him where he wanted. Like it was pretty even, but Nate Diaz I felt like was winning. Even though there were some even exchanges, Nate Diaz was winning those exchanges.
I thought Nate was gonna get gassed out, no cap, because this motherfucker was really taking breaks. I was like, this is the most disrespectful motherfucker I've ever seen.
Yeah, that boy was
Diaz is a
trying him.
cardio god, boy. He never, both of them don't ever get tired.
I thought, but they was literally just like, he was just walking off on his ass, and then Tony looked like he was trying to keep his distance and circle and shit, and then Nate was like, never mind.
That's how Nate Diaz. That's why I said take a shot every time you see Nate Diaz start doing that little walk. Like he just starts walking. He does that shit. Like that's what you get out of a Nick Diaz fight. They're just unorthodox. They put on their
showmen.
showmen.
Are fucking demons. That's why they're fucking demons, bro. That shit is crazy.
Stockton, California, stand up, man. Motherfucking that boy Nate is a fucking. He's probably my favorite person ever.
Free agent now too.
I don't know.
You think he's coming back to the UFC?
Nah.
I know bare fist, knuckle, whatever. Like they said that they're willing to offer big money for Nate Diaz, and they got Michael Page from Bellator. They got Mike Perry from UFC earlier this year. Like I could see Nate Diaz doing it. Like just being like that's a bad like that fits his persona.
Give me a $2 million fight.
You're gonna need at least $2 million to book Nate Diaz.
They can offer that. Like I said, they took Michael Page, who was like Bellator's biggest fighter, undefeated demon, knocking people out, and then all of a sudden he makes a switch in his prime to bare knuckle. Like they have the money out. Like they have some back. I don't know. Maybe it's money laundering, but these boys are willing to play some big. At least a couple dudes will get the bag.
If they got $2 million, they could get Nate Diaz because Jake Paul knows he's gonna need at least $2 million to get Nate Diaz.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the next shit for him, for real. Him trying to fight Jake Paul.
And I think it's gonna be a while. I think he's gonna chill for a little bit. Like he's not gonna go to camp after this.
If Bellator is smart, Bellator should be able to get him a bag, get him on there, but give him a contract where he can co-promote type shit and do like the Floyd Connor cross thing with like Jake Paul and have Bellator cross promote with Jake Paul shit.
Oh yeah, because isn't Bellator on Showtime?
I'm not too sure, but I wouldn't be sure. They're growing. They're like right behind UFC now too.
I could be wrong. I feel like I'd be seeing that shit on there. But if so, that boy Jake Paul is linked in with Showtime, so that shit would work.
Jake Paul and the Nate Diaz like the boxing thing. Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm just looking at it as a business perspective.
Hit us up, huge Nate, opportunity. Man, we got you with the ideas. Hire me.
I like it. I would love to see that shit. But a reporter asked a great question though. They said now that Nate's a free agent, do you think that Nate and Connor, they might do that fight still and just do it somewhere else? And this nigga Dana White said, it's not my problem. That'd be their problem. Whoever picked it up.
Them Prince Juniors, out there in Abu Dhabi, they would pay big money probably for that fight, bro.
Boys will put on a fucking insane event for that. They
built a stadium. They built a new arena to fit everybody.
They would have them flying upside down off a skyscraper.
Them boys will be on the helicopter pad like Floyd.
Yeah, like they anything goes type shit. And if we both be kind of free, that'd be kind of fun. But what about Ferguson?
Man.
Do y'all think he's hanging him up after this fight, or he should at least think about hanging him up?
I think he's 38. I think that's an age, but like it wasn't a short decline. Like I feel like he started to slow down, and he looked because Khabib, his Khabib beefs were fucking like 3 years ago. Like not that it feels like it wasn't that far ago.
From like 2000, I think it said like 2013 to 2020, he was on a 13 fight win streak. And then 2021 to 2022, he might have a long decline type shit, but he was fighting against top tier opponents, so he started looking worse and worse. But you're fighting top tier guys, it doesn't matter. You look bad.
Mm-hmm. So like that's what I think about it. So like I think from his mindset, I don't give a fuck. I'm a fighter. That's why I fucking fight with my hands. Like that Anderson Silva type mindset, I think he's gonna go. I don't think he's gonna lose like his next like. I think he's gonna probably like fight out his contract, but like I definitely don't think this is the last time we're seeing Tony Ferguson.
Mark, you think we see more Tony, or you think it's a time to put the gloves up, keep the record as is, don't make it look any worse?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna say turn the gloves in, man. Had a legendary career, Hall of Famer. I feel like you just leave it at that, man. I mean, unless you go, you easy get a. I don't want to say easy fight next, but I don't know, man. It seems like his time's here, or at least from what I've seen.
Throw my man a bone, all right? Stop giving him the Michael Chandlers and all of that.
Yeah, maybe that. Maybe lower the fucking heat a little. Dude,
give him one right down the plate so he can smash that bitch.
That too, man.
I
Give
don't
that
know how
boy
many more fights he has on contract. Like if it's 2 more fights, y'all can just give him some nice, easy fights. Maybe let him ride out his career into the sunset.
I doubt it.
4 more.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that shit goes. But like, it's still Tony time, man.
Well, shit, we appreciate you joining us, that Marcus. Anyone else got any final comments on UFC 279 before we round it out?
Bro, I know Dana White got home and smoked some dumb dope after this one, because god damn, they know his head was on fire after this one. This was terrible. Like this was probably one of the biggest, and it's one of those things. And he was trying to play it off like, man, there was one year we had every main event fell through. Like every main event didn't go as well. Something happened. So like, nah, bro, this is probably one of the most stressful days. And I just would think the only person in the world that could have handled this was Dana White. So there'd be a day that the UFC doesn't have Dana White. And I think that's when the Bellators and the motherfuckers start coming through, because it's the fight game. Every time they ask, bro, are you going to give them repercussions? Well, the NFL be like, yeah, man, we finna suspend him for this. And he was just like, it's the fight game. It happens. Let's keep it moving. Let's get a fight. Let's get a card done.
It's a fight game.
It gets dirty in the fight game. Well, shit. Stay tuned. Check us out for our Friday night picks. We have who coming up? A UFC fight night. Yadong and Sandhagen, and then we got Triple G Canelo picks dropping Friday. So stay tuned for the rest of this week. And if y'all didn't know, now y'all know, motherfuckers.
Got a problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools, you can call them boy crap. Man, this gang got rules, man, you better watch your passes, this ain't not new.